Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Terrace Scottish Football Podcast. I am your host Craig Fowler and I am joined in his lovely flat in Ballgreen by Tony Anderson.
Craig Fowler, hello.
Hello. And by Shaughan McGuigan. Shaughan, how's it going?
Hello there.
You never said how's it going, you said hello there.
Well, I'm very well, how are you? I mean, we've been in each other's company for about an hour.
We've even eaten together.
Had some tea.
No, we've had dinner.
Watched the end of the pointlessness that was Scotland-Liechtenstein, or Liechtenstein, Scotland as I should say. Yeah, aye. You never actually asked me during that time how it was though.
How are you?
I was hoping you would just hurry up to do this bit so we get on.
Terrible.
Are you terrible?
No, I'm fine.
We've got a trip coming up further. We're just talking
We're away to Düsseldorf on Thursday, which is why this will not be released before then. This will be released later in the month.
PTSD the minute I land in Düsseldorf. I'm thinking I'll get that instantly start getting the shakes.
Yeah,
9 days there. Oh my God.
Yes, because it'll take us back to the Euros.
So I hadn't realised that where you were. Was that your
was
base
like a
camp?
main
Base,
Euros,
and that was.
You know, so it hadn't even occurred to me.
No, 9 days I was there over there, and I was in a bad way. And I stayed by myself. You're going, I need my own space. I regretted that because I was fucking scared I was going to die. Like waking up with such bad hangovers and realize because I'm at the time 37, like that, just horrific hangovers.
I mean, that feels like an unusual decision for you because, like, I would imagine you were just like kind of pacing up and down and just desperate to talk to somebody.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, I need space from there for that long. I need a good place to relax, but then I was just like, I've got anxiety all the time. Let's get out of here. Wake up like that. I need to get out of here now. Iron a shirt, shower. I stopped wearing any football stuff after a while because I didn't want anyone to think I was a football fan because they might approach me. So I just wear like shirts and trousers. Then people would people I knew from back home or people who knew the show, whatever, would come over. I'd be like, fuck, I'm having a great time. Where's my friends now? I need 2 beers and then I'm absolutely great. And I realised I've never felt like this before, but I really, really zoned in on what it is to be an alcoholic on that trip. Really learned, like, that really is bad. No wonder they drink all the time. I understand you on a new level now, Mr. JK. I get you.
Mr. JK. But we're not here to talk about our adventures or misadventures in Dusseldorf last summer or this summer. We're here instead to talk about the best moments in Scottish football from the 2024-25 season. These are the 5th and 6th parts of our series, which run every year, and it's not about the best goals, best assists, best performances, best games, etc., etc. It is about the daft stuff, the irreverent stuff, the stuff that's like, yes, that's Scottish football right there.
And I mean, there's almost nothing good in this. I don't have any points for it. I don't know how many of them are positive, other than being a good laugh. I mean, actually,
well, that's the point.
That's what I mean.
It's all about, and it's not even like you're laughing with them. It's always everything is laughing at someone. So let's crack on.
Yes, and we shall begin with some boys breaking into Central Park and driving a road roller across the pitch.
So annoying with this because it is very funny because it's in the black and white with the CCTV. It's got the timestamp and all that, so that adds comedy to it. And then how slow everything happens, but they do damage the pitch. It's like, can you just drive round? Because then you could have the laugh, the funny bit, without things being completely damaged. If you know what I mean.
I think it was actually okay in the end of the pitch.
So I went to the game. They played Bo'ness the Saturday after. And I can't remember why I went. Maybe Rafe won the plane, or they were away from home and I wasn't bothered about going. But I went to that game and I didn't think the pitch was that badly damaged. However, there is something in a tweet about them driving into a building. So maybe it was that the damage.
We should have seen that video instead.
Yeah. I mean, the thing goes so slow the building would be able to get up and move away.
I mean, I am conflicted it because I've got a lot of time for going to be, even if it was a club that I didn't have a lot of time for, I wasn't that fussed about. I wouldn't have been chuffed about the fact that somebody's broken in, jumped on a steamroller and drove all over the joint. But there is something very, very funny about it.
God, how slow it is. Everything's done at like such a snail's pace. There's no jeopardy of anything.
Because there's boys jumping on and off it because they're like all hyped up to do something naughty, and then it's like nothing is happening though.
Yeah. Just start spitting everywhere. Just like it is. But if you're going to break in, Don't damage stuff. Just go to the dugout and figure yourself or something like that. Figure yourself. Well, what was that bird that done? The only fans want it Petondri.
I don't think there was any put it your way fingering going on. I think she just broke in with her photographer, presumably a friend or boyfriend or whatever, and took some photos of her on the Aberdeen bench. I don't remember any.
That was fun.
Don't remember any actual sexual acts taking place.
That was fun.
I certainly don't want that. I certainly don't want these boys doing that.
Yeah. Get her on the roller, driving out with her top off.
Somebody else films it for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Or is that the OnlyFans? You have to watch the CCTV version of it.
Yeah. Shite.
You also have to break it afterwards and retrieve the tape.
The pixelated nipples like that. There we go. And we're off.
And we're off. There's your starter for 10. Peterhead point out Clyde's Twitter account has been sharing some very thirsty content. And then afterwards we have Clyde dropping in their former admin guy by telling people later that week that he's moved to Australia before deleting the send-off.
Enjoyed Peterhead essentially keeping receipts here. That's what's on, because Clyde had pulled them up about something. It was to do with they thought they'd been biased about like a kind of update that it had for a game between Clyde and Peterhead, but I really appreciate what Peterhead did here, because they basically retweeted it was Sophie Rain or a PlayStation 5.
Me or a PS5.
That was it. That's what, and it was a tweet from somebody called Sophie Rain, and Clyde had retweeted it, me or a PlayStation 5. I always think I know it's just like a kind of daft, please people engage with me. But I just think it's like a weird comparison.
Do you know what? Do you know what I thought was funny about it, that Clyde retweeting it? Was it didn't even say like retweet for me or like for a PS5. All it said was me or a PS5, and then just repost.
But that never. We went through this the last time. I think we went through like with other people doing these thirsty stuff.
But this is even weirder.
I don't understand. Right, I'm not going to claim that I don't ever see good-looking women on the internet, all right? I'm not going to claim I've never come across it and went like, but why on earth would you want to announce that you're doing it? I don't understand why that's a repost. Everyone, look what I'm doing. Like, why would you're meant to be ashamed of watching dirty things. That's the whole point. We know everyone does it, but you're meant to be ashamed of it. But you see it so often on Twitter. Everyone just like, I've seen someone there go like, I'm no gay, am I? What does that's nothing to do with it? Nothing to do with your sexuality. You don't have to share everything that you're doing.
And maybe you've stumbled across why guys seem to feel the need to do it. They're overcompensating.
Yeah.
But I mean, presumably,
look at this. Look at all the bumps I fancy.
I think people go through the likes.
But presumably the guy who thought he was retweeting it was doing it from what he thought was an anonymous account. Rather than
Clyde,
Jimmy McGee or whatever his name was.
But surely, even if you've got, I've seen people do it for like their personal rather than a work one. It's just, why do you want everyone to know? Just look at it and then move on.
I just think it's an unusual comparison.
But
like,
PS5,
it's
go back to the actual crux of the matter.
It's like, well, what's better, Cristiano Ronaldo are getting changed into your jammies? It's just like a weird. It's just like a weird comparison. It's like Sophie Rain. I mean, I don't know who she is. I've never heard her before. She seems very attractive, but like, I need to know more if I'm going to choose her over a PlayStation 5. Like, does she?
You don't even like computer games.
Does she sniff instead of blowing her nose? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe there's
good to wait
stuff. Like, I can't make that decision. I mean, ultimately, I'd have to go for PlayStation 5 based on the information I have from that tweet.
So it's an absolutely bizarre way to behave. I'll just never understand why people want to advertise being dirty perverts. Why would you want to do that?
Aberdeen Manny helps the club sell tickets to a game against Motherwell.
Hi Don's fans, Aberdeen Manny here. Where are you men? I'm up at Dodry. BDM in. I'm here to tell you about the next home game for the Dons. Fazza, how's your ma? Mother well? Tickets are only a tenner. Nae bad, eh? I'm hearing there's going to be fireworks and
This is like their version of the Maripop sisters.
Yeah,
so that's what it felt like. It's like, who is this guy? What's his background? Does anyone know?
So I've googled him. He is somebody who had, I think, gained a bit of traction for just speaking Doric on
fucking hell
Instagram.
I wondered if that was the case.
Then I think he started doing some stand up a couple of years ago. I don't know how well that goes. And the only thing I would say is, Just out of interest, I looked so this was to advertise a Motherwell game. So the two games either side of this, in terms of games at Pittodrie, was Dundee United, which you would say was a bigger game.
New firm.
And then New Firm. And then they had Rangers. So for the Dundee United game, it was just over 16,000. For the Rangers game, it was just over 18,000. For the Motherwell game, bearing in mind Aberdeen Manny was advertised at 19,000. Aberdeen Manny needs to advertise every game.
Well,
but it was also a tenner.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what
I may have been selectively picking at why the attendance might have been so high.
Yeah, because that's what I don't get about why they used them for this game. It's like, surely, like, yeah, you've stumbled across this local celebrity guy who speaks to Doric, therefore has a connection to the club and kind of the whole cultural history, blah, blah, blah. You think, right, okay, we can use him to advertise a game and to get people talking around it. A lot of people aren't going to like it, but it's going to get a lot of engagement and it's going to get a lot of eyes on it, and that will help us sell tickets. Do you know what else also does that? Advertising a game for a fucking tenner.
Yeah.
So I don't think they really, especially when they're really right in the mix for a third place, what thought at the time was a key European chase. I think it would have sold out anyway with a tenner. I think they were selling out a lot of games around about this time.
Get Graham Shinnie to come on and go, tenner.
Graham, how much is this going to cost? Tenner. Thank you.
That's it.
You're back to training now.
Hey, today, tomorrow, we're going to be a team. A tenner. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like nobody from Aberdeen even talks like that. Nobody goes that far.
Nobody talks like that.
Every single word was like a Scottish colloquialism. The way that he done it was absolutely ridiculous.
Also, I got a bit triggered by the fact that he done the Motherwell joke, but he done it in reverse.
Aye, that was annoying. It didn't really make any sense why he done it that way. Just didn't work at all. But listen, I got a higher thing. That's what I'm saying.
Rather than it's like with people, waiter rather than water. You know, there's some that you don't do because it doesn't work. And he was doing that. Every single word had to be an A rather than they changed the vowels. Every single one.
Maybe that's just Doric. I suppose it wasn't really for us. It's hard for us to judge.
For Aberdeen fans.
I'm drinking Aberdeen fans. Can't be asked. Can't be asked for the weekend.
I know 3 Aberdeen fans. Probably, I don't know, about 4 or 5 Aberdeen fans in real life. None of them speak like that. Anywhere near it.
I'm just thinking about an Aberdeen.
They're all from Aberdeen originally.
I'm thinking about an Aberdeen fan be like, can't be asked for the game. And then look at their phone. Coming to him for a tenner. Oh my fucking god! WhatsApp and everyone try to get. We'll meet at the pub at 12, right? And then we'll absolute rubbish. No need for you. Go away, Aberdeen Manny.
Right, so this is the first of there's a few things coming up which we've covered before, but
yeah, but
we should cover them again because they're just that good. Yeah, across the TV show and the end of season awards, we have talked about a couple of these, but fuck it, let's do it again. Vlaclav Černý sprays Celtic fans with water after Rangers winner at Celtic Park.
There was something about the nature of it was kind of like blinking, you'll miss it. So the camera was kind of fixed on the dugouts, and he literally just sprints, and it would be easy to miss it, but somehow that made it even better. It was one of my favourite moments of the season by a mile.
It almost feels like a cartoon because everything's going so fast. And the guy, and you don't know, and you just see a guy go mental, so you have to rewind it so many times to suddenly see the squirt.
I noticed for the first time actually before this, I noticed looking back at it again that there's a boy who is sitting in the middle at the top who actually sees it coming. He flinches before Černý does it. He's about the only person that spots. Everybody else is like gets hit with water, was like, what's that? And then sees Černý running and then kind of starts reacting. But this guy actually, and he flinches properly. He's like,
because I've ever since this, I've always thought like the Celtic dads were really quite pathetic. But then I've been thinking about it since in terms of like how you'd react, how I would react, or how like we would like. Let's say it was an Edinburgh derby, right? And Hibs win it in the last minute.
Sounds good.
And Rocky Bushiri sprints past
nicest man in the world
and squirts some water on Joe Sked's face. I don't know if Joe Sked's going to react that well. So maybe the reaction wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was.
But it's about how long.
I really want to see this now.
It's about how long. Yeah, please sign a new contract, Rocky Bushiri, and spray water in Joe Sked's face.
And celebrate the winning goal Easter Road by somehow immediately climbing up to the second tier, to the very back, to the media section, and it's just spraying water right in Joe's face, all over his laptop and everything.
Really quite particular.
Yeah. Take a while. Game's delayed.
But I think it was more that you...
Rams have actually conceded a goal because they're doing it.
It's like 4-4 again. But what was I going to say there? It's more about like the Celtic fans, how long they reacted for. Like, we went on weeks and weeks and weeks. But so I think you would react badly maybe for a second, then go, that's actually a wee bit funny.
Somebody could have died of pneumonia.
Like, fucking hell, but they'd be like,
did somebody not say that? Somebody could have died of pneumonia.
Hypothermia, regardless. A cold disease.
I thought you were about to say the guy who noticed was thirsty. He was just going to go like that. Like when the Rangers fans were in Portugal, they couldn't get any water. They should have got the player just spraying it into the crowd.
I don't remember that.
The Europa League final, remember, there was no water. They couldn't have no access.
The rumour was that to drink out of toilets.
Can't do anything these days.
And on a similar theme, Simon Murray does the Adebayor after getting hit with a vape pen and scoring the clinching goal during the Dundee derby.
This is one that I've done too many times and it is really losing its shine. Ultimately, it's a guy celebrating a goal.
Shaughan, I don't think you've said anything about this before. Let's just go to you on this one.
The only thing that annoys me about, well, nothing annoys me about the act of the celebration itself, but it's when you're watching it live, the camera cut away from him.
Yeah.
Like, this could have been an all-timer if they just stayed with him and just followed him.
That's what Telfer was saying when we were doing it.
It was the lack of production value.
Yeah, because the Arsenal one, they get the camera behind them, so you see it, and it's like a piece of art.
Yes.
You can see so much, and we weren't given that.
Yeah.
Gary Caldwell claims he got sent off for having a Scottish accent.
This is one of my favourite things. It's absolutely like unhinged nonsense. What the hell are you talking about? But you think about it like, maybe they are just thinking he sounds aggressive. But then when it goes into like claiming that Jen complains all the time about how aggressive I am to the kids, to the dog. Like, mate, you should stop smoking. You should stop talking now. Because I don't think we can blame the fourth official. If your wife tries to protect her kids from you because of your shouting, maybe you do. Maybe you're aggressive.
And bear in mind, one of the reasons he says he felt that the officials thought he was being aggressive was because he felt that he'd had a perfectly good goal disallowed. And that's why ultimately, I suppose, the officials he acted aggressively towards officials in their opinion. He doesn't have that excuse with his wife or his dog or his kids, because they're just away at the park because they're away at school or he's making them their breakfast. Like, what is he doing aggressively in those scenarios?
How long's it till T-Gen? 50 minutes. Fuck that. Fucking kicks the dog up the arse.
I'm not being aggressive, I'm just being Scottish.
Have you actually watched the footage of it happening?
No.
He's right in terms of he doesn't run, and honestly, obviously we've no idea if he's swearing, but he goes right up to the other visual and he's just all the way there and right in his face, he's just doing that kind of sarcastic clap. He's doing that sarcastic clap, which he doesn't mention at all in this interview.
Is that what he does in the house all the time?
Yeah. Oh, just put some salt in that, did you? There's nice
tidy in the kitchen, did you? Congratulations.
Well done, you.
You changed the nappy, did you? Fucking class, man. Fucking brilliant, man.
Oh, you got a gold star, did you, in school, for the teacher?
Yeah, I started taking out the kids as well. Kids like, oh, look at my drawing. It's very fucking good. He's leaving in the fucking light, John Afghan.
The dog in the park as well. Oh, you brought the ball back.
Yeah. But I didn't run and I didn't swear. There's other ways of being aggressive. They aren't really the only two things. The Scottish accent isn't a prerequisite that you sound like Shaughan. You don't sound aggressive at all. I think maybe I can at times. I can see why someone would be able to misconstrue that, but definitely I've met plenty of Scottish people who don't sound aggressive whatsoever. My wife doesn't sound aggressive at all.
Dunfermline fans lose their minds at the signing of Victor Wanyama, coming in very shortly after Neil Lennon was announced as boss. Then they lose their first game to Ayr and Wanyama is sent off.
Really, really funny. I think what probably made it even funnier was there had been such a big build-up. And if I had been a Dunfermline fan who thought, let's face it, a kind of season to forget, you're desperately looking for and hoping to cling to things that are going to excite you. And then, wow, Neil Lennon's come in. Whoa, Wanyama's signing. And then you've got all this Victor Wanyama.
Well done.
Right.
Well done.
But then, like, what is like? I think of it now as, what do you do with Victor Wanyama merchandise when you realise he's shit? So we know there's some people with like Kenyan flags on the terrace and someone's like, fine. But what do you do if you've got his name and his number on the back of your jersey? What do you do in that scenario?
Is he staying? Can I ask? Because
Neil,
Lennon's
I think it's still
Lennon's
there.
signed a 2-year deal, eh?
Neil Lennon has said
Neil
that
Francis Lennon is
he thinks that if Wanyama could have some kind of pre-season, then he would make a difference, because you saw how good he was against Morton on the final day of the season. And he was slightly better. That's what I was saying about Wanyama last season.
He basically falling over the ball and then batting the ball away with his hand and being sent off.
That's like, it's like not what it wasn't just like bad. That was like comedy bad. That's like what I think I would end up doing. You know, taking someone who's not a footballer, but on a football strip, when you try and turn, you know, and everything's going quite fast, you already are losing your footing, so you're running back, and then just because you're desperate not to fuck up, you do something as stupid as punch the ball away on the ground. It's very amateur, like boy at fives who never plays football. Victor Wanyama, Champions League finalist.
But like, is there a way to like remove? Let's say you no longer want Wanyama 55 in the back of your jersey. Is there like can you send it somewhere to get it removed? Or do you put it in a wash machine and put it in a boil wash a couple of times? Hope the numbers peel off. I don't know what you do.
Take away the one, and
Or just never wear that strip again.
They do always come off eventually. Maybe you just have to wash it 15 times.
Sit in front of it with your legs crossed. Press it again. Again.
Oh, no. Still there.
It's about this size. It just fits on your pinky.
This is the worst season ever.
Wanyama.
You eventually get off and the sponsorships fall off as well.
Yeah, but it still says Wanyama on the back.
It's just a white t-shirt.
It was one of those. It's just like, this is what everyone wants to happen, and it's happening, and it just feels like Scotland is the hotbed for this.
Yes.
This exact scenario it's just, I don't know if it's a mix of people genuinely taking the piss, but I really just think it's romanticism from Scottish foot managers and that thing. Oh, they get this guy, and it's too many people playing Football Manager are thinking it once again, everyone's going to be great. They're absolutely finished. They're finished.
We do accept that, either bringing in guys who are clearly done, or bringing in exceptional players, family members.
Yeah.
Who are rubbish.
It's a bizarre way for us to do things, but it's what we do. We're fine with it.
Willie Hoy withdraws his sponsorship of Queen's Park after becoming enraged at team names in a pub quiz.
The phrase thin-skinned doesn't do this justice.
This felt like a very kind of easy kind of.
He's looking for an excuse.
Yes, he's looking for an excuse to kind of get out here, and that it kind of suited him at this moment in time to bring this up.
I'm quite enjoying going through this because we had our quiz last week, and all these things are just names that were used. PS5 or me on a PS5.
Aye.
Well, no, Horry Fanny or whatever it was.
No, big Fanny Hoy.
Big Fanny Hoy.
Aye. So there was
Aye, that was from the Daily Record article, which was an exclusive. The names were Hoy Out, Nepotism FC, and the most offensive of all, Big Fanny Hoy.
I mean, it's fun. The way the most offensive, because the other two were rubbish. Those two weren't really offensive at all.
Oh, just fucking say Hoy Out or something. It's like I at the bar know what I'm going to be arse picking a name for the quiz. Just say Hoy Out or something.
At least some thought in it, the third one.
Yeah.
Ben Patterson, head of media, gets the adulation after Hamilton Accies beat Partick Thistle at Firhill.
Ben!
Probably add that 6 days after this, 5 days after, 6 days after this, the Hamilton Accies were hit with a 15-point deduction.
Because I think we were going to use it in the show, and then everything kind of went Pete Tong with Hamilton at that point, so we'd probably take it out.
It was actually the Thursday, so it was 5 days later. So this was a Saturday. This was the second consecutive away victory that had. The one at Dunfermline, then the one here, and you thought they're actually going to stay up. They're going to do this. And then it was the Thursday. We'd recorded the show. I think we'd probably finished recording about 2 or 3. and then head back to Glasgow. And then I think by the time I went out to see the Sugar Babes that night. By the time I'd even left the house, they'd been hit with a 15-point deduction.
It was just really cool in terms of the guy that's
Andy Bass messaging us. That's us removed that.
Already removed. But so the guy that's filming it, he's like having such a laugh. He's having such a giggle at it, and then Ben's doing the kind of.
The Jurgen Klopp.
It's like a running roar.
Yeah.
Like the Hanland fans.
You can't take that away. That even though it never, like, obviously, like, all went tits up for him as an individual, he did get to do the thing, because that is the thing you would most want to do as a fan pretending to be a manager. Hey, definitely what you'd want to do.
And the fans probably would actually prefer it was Ben doing it than John Wicken.
Well, I think this is why this happened. It was a great victory, the second in a row. They wanted to give the adulation to something. It wasn't going to be John fucking Wicken. Callum Gallagher drinks a pint of Madri on the pitch after Arbroath pumped Shinnie to seal the League One title.
Waste of a Madri. You're already feeling good about yourself.
But winning the league and having a pint of Madri, my goodness, how high would this men's mental health be? Can it be any higher? It's through the roof.
Try to bring yourself back to life. Gives you an extra life. It's like in a computer game.
This is something, I don't know what it is. It's just probably because you just never see it any other time. But a glass pint on a football pitch with a footballer in still in his full kit as well.
It did look very cool.
It did look cool.
I suppose it must have been passed down for hospitality. Because I think
like logistics. We're drilling down.
Have they installed a keg at the side of the pitch?
I mean, fair enough, we've been to Arbroath Hospitality, and I can only imagine how much shushing the boy was doing as folk were trying to steal pints, furtively get them out the bar. That a hush.
A little bit of hush now.
But it's cool, like rubbing the glass, not just being a bottle. An actual proper pint. It is good. Good. Fair play. And why not? You've just won the league.
Graham Shinnie squares up to half the Rangers team after the 2-2 draw at Pataudry, where 10-man Rangers came from 2 down to equalise at the death.
Get a glass, fill it up with a Madri, give it to Graham Shinnie.
What controversial happened to him? Because like Suter seemed to be trying to explain something to him, and he wasn't having it at all.
Well, I think it was a two-parter, and I think it was in reaction to Rangers.
It was a last minute
celebrations because Rangers equalised in the last minute. Dessers went through, hit the post, and then ball came out, and Hadji got it, curled it into the far corner. And because this is a bit of a two-parter, this one. Because it probably happened after, I'm not sure whether it was directly related to or not, but the Rangers subs bam up the Aberdeen fans in the main stand.
Very funny.
With Rascan and Finlay Curtis, who actually didn't even notice until I looked at it again today. He's actually doing to pretend like as if he's going to go boxing with him. And imagine that's exactly what he was doing. Like, oh, come on then. And it's these old boys just leaning over, absolutely raging.
You'd be well into that, especially if you're a young player. I'd be up to stuff like that all the time.
It was just sort of very much seemed to be explaining things like in a cool, calm manner.
Collected.
Whereas Shinnie wasn't having any of it whatsoever.
No. Angry guy Graham Shinnie was famously. So
he would be especially angry at that.
Yeah.
They were 2-0 up against 10 men.
They absolutely fucked it. I mean, they got the last laugh in the end, though, didn't they?
But that was calming him down. He was already pissed off, and then Suter comes up and tries to calmly explain what he was saying to him, and then he just gets angrier. And then Raskin comes over, and then he's pissed off as well. And then finally Ferguson, and he's still like, he eventually kind of backs away, and he kind of does a wee kind of hand gesture at the end, kind of like, that's the end of it, kind of thing. But yeah, he was not being placated. Forfar ball boy gets unintentionally mobbed by jubilant Rig Rose players and fans in a crucial 6-pointer at Station Park.
Just sits quietly.
I mean, I don't know what else I expect a small ball boy to do when he's surrounded by
men,
adult football players when he's presumably intimidated at best of times. But the fact that they've just went, I think it was 2-0 down at this point in a game where I think a point would have guaranteed that Forfar would have stayed up. What you don't want to be involved in is a kind of celebratory melee, which is exactly what the ball boy was involved in. It was maybe 9 Bonnyrigg fans that he was surrounded by. Bonnyrigg players that he was surrounded by.
The fans are also behind them as well. Cocoons.
An absolutely horrific moment for like what looks like an 8-9-year-old boy. But he holds it just like that. Professionalism through the roof. Graham Shinnie should take it. I know he is big. Just like that.
Thing is, though, they're like, Jimmy, do you want to be a ball boy again next year? Nah,
I'm alright.
No chance.
PTSD, everything. just stares at the kid, comes home, just sits in his bed like that.
Jimmy at Station Park is like you in Dusseldorf.
yeah. Exactly. Just starts going.
Raith Rovers fan ends up in a heap on the ground after celebrating Paul Hanlon's goal at the Falkirk Stadium.
For a break of the ball, Louis Vaughan lifts one into the back post. Hanlon, it sticks under his feet. Paul Hanlon! Paul Hanlon! Bedlam in the away end! Falkirk 1, Raith Rovers 2. Heroes to a man. Raith Rovers take the lead here in Falkirk.
What an absolutely magnificent moment.
This was just misjudging how solid defence was, wasn't it?
He doesn't need to go over that, but he's going outside to come in.
There was like so many different entry points.
It's like when Gareth Bale goes off the pitch to get the ball against Barcelona and comes out to try again. He tries to do the same thing. No reason to do it. Just jumping with everyone else.
Puts one hand on the fence just gives way, and then he just lands on his bum. But I think due to the adrenaline, because the Rovers have now got 2 up, it didn't really faze him. I wonder how he felt the next day.
Sir arse.
A big bruised arse. Or arrested. He's on the pitch.
Yeah, Sir arse in a cold cell. Yeah. It's common. But that one was, to be fair, they're very, very good quotes scenes of that goal. People are absolutely losing their on themselves, all just running in different directions. It's very good.
It's very, I don't know if it was the second or the third goal where all the Rovers players go straight to the Rovers fans, but all the Rovers fans run away from them. As they run towards the Falkirk fans to bam them up. And you're right, nothing made sense at that point.
And then with Paul Hanlon, the commentary is absolutely amazing. Oh, he stays calm.
No, he doesn't.
It's unbelievable in terms of the technique used for his touches and that the ball lands exactly where he needs it, because it is some of the worst ability I've seen in that position. He looks like he's panicking like fuck.
He was the world's most panicky man at that point.
Just so happened that the ball stuck to him still. Didn't leave him.
Oh well, I'll kick it then. I can do that.
Did you, when you said like scenes there, take it you're fed up of scenes and limbs?
It's just not that I'm fed. I accept these things and they always get overused, and it's just part of what social media is. Okay, so I don't like to be an arsehole and go a bit like slagging off people for using the phrases, but they are boring. But I would never like tell someone not to say it, or I know exactly what they mean. I know what it is. But it's not even that people use it. It's just it becomes ubiquitous because people start naming their accounts after it, and it becomes like a whole person's personality on a whole thing's, and then I'm just coming across all the time. But yeah, but it does explain what it is. That is fair. That makes sense.
Shaughan.
Yes. No, it's right. We need new terms to describe scenes to run its course.
What would you go for?
I don't know. Actually, I was trying to think of a word. Viewing?
Hashtag viewing.
I don't know I was going to replace it.
Yeah.
Action.
Hashtag action.
What were the other actions for stuff on the field?
There you go, hang it in the Louvre, all that. Just all like it's just fatigue of social media. It's the social media. I used to think that it done good and bad, and I'm more and more thinking it's just bad, because even the stuff it does good, it ruins. So it's all shit.
In fairness, every single point we have on here is on social media.
Without it, we wouldn't be able to do half the things we do. So don't get me wrong.
This is another bit of a two-parter involving Celtic fans and animals and the title celebrations. So the first one is a man brings a duck to Celtic Park to celebrate Celtic winning the title.
They've just got bored.
It's wearing a nappy.
A duck.
It's wearing a nappy. It's wearing a Celtic nappy.
It says it's wearing its Celtic nappy. Now I would imagine it taking a duck to a game of football is like, it's a hassle, isn't it? It must be a hassle. If it's so much of a hassle, you need to stick a nappy on it.
Well, you
just don't do it.
It wasn't a game of football. It was the trophy day. It wasn't a trophy day. It was the day that they wrapped the title. So they were away at Tannadice.
Oh, so he was just taking it to
He was just taking it to Celtic Park.
The party.
For the party,
yes.
Yeah.
As if that's better than just taking it to a game.
I was expecting, when I first saw it, I was expecting it to be on like a wee leash, which I would have enjoyed a lot more.
You're just holding it.
No, you're just holding it, and that. But I would have had a wee leash just walking around.
Is there any background to like what he does? Like, is he I don't know.
What?
A duck technician? Is he a farmer? I don't like who owns ducks? I don't know.
Is that another name for a farmer? A duck technician?
I don't know.
A cow technician.
Who would own a duck?
What do you do these days? Oh, mate, I'm a duck technician.
Is that a vet?
4 years? 4 years? 4 year honours degree?
I've left the pub.
Duck technician. But it's strange bringing it up. So where would have he got it? Would it be his pet, or they just went down the local pond?
Can you actually own a pet dog? Is the thing from Friends actually true? Can you actually just have this in a flat?
Maybe. So this guy just likes Friends a lot.
As a real man, he
left the chick at home.
Wait a minute, he had a duck nappy. I mean, let's face it, this is his first rodeo. This is his first duck rodeo.
He called it a duck nappy, but it was Celtic branded, so I don't think he bought it. I think he used something else for
a dappy.
Even that's niche for any kind of, even a big football team to have a duck nappy.
Yeah.
Available at your club shop.
Who models it?
Alistair Johnson.
I'm just like, the young players go, I'm not fucking doing it.
And the second one is Celtic fan paints his dog in the tricolours after Celtic won the title.
Dreadful. I don't know if you had a wee look at it.
So weird.
I don't know if you had a wee look at the comments. And again, this is a really unacceptable comment, but it made me laugh. Somebody commented, "That's that duck I kicked in the shop." Now, I love dogs and I would never kick one, but for some reason that made me laugh. Like, that's really poor behaviour.
For being a wee tiny.
I kicked a dog because it's the same colour as a flag. Come on now.
The dog had any say in it.
Yeah.
The dog's just watching, sees Celtic beat Dundee United, and it goes against the
Spray paint him up.
Spray paint, aye, goes and brings it back in his mouth.
Dogs like that, I thought it was Ivory Coast.
Yeah, big Drogba fan. But it's very trippy to look at. Very weird. Don't like it. But I do like the next one.
So the next one is Hearts players look like they're headed into the High Court as they're door-stopped by Sky Sports as they enter the Player of the Year awards one day after Neil Critchley is sacked.
As we said, the squad attended their end-of-season awards in Edinburgh. However, despite the best efforts of our reporter Adam Binney, there was little said about the departure of their coach.
Back in the dugout until the end of the season, how much are you looking forward to the challenge of the next 4 games? You willing to accept that Hearts in a relegation fight now, Liam? You're the man to try and keep them up? We just have a quick word. Cobb have sacked head coach Neil Critchley. Can you just give me your reaction to that? The players have to bear some responsibility for this. I just ask you how difficult it was to sack head coach Neil Critchley.
Sorry, that was yesterday's news. I'm going in here now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Quite a, you always wonder, slow news day for Sky. Shall we just set up shop outside the where is it? The conference centre, or is it Gorgie? Where do they have the park?
It's the
Just in for my work, I think, wasn't it?
EICC. Is that
They
what
have
it
the
is?
conference
Yeah.
centre. I just have to stand out there and wait for them to come. All right. Like Sky Sports, I was expecting when Daz used to doorstop people, but for Sky Sports it just seemed a bit like what they, and obviously Shagley got loads of shit for laughing, which really is ridiculous because obviously you're laughing at the situation and being under pressure and know what he's saying. But they just it's meant to be an event. They are all dressed very much like funeral or court rather than because you Look, you go to a wedding, you wear a different type of suit than if you've got a workout. You know what I mean? You normally jazz it up a bit, but not these guys.
What was it Anne Budge said again? Anne Budge was quite...
That's
she said something weird.
Now I'm going in here. Don't know where she's from. Fucking sounds like Isa.
That's she from Mary Hill.
Alright, everyone. Get the fucking tunes on.
But it was bloody typical. It's just everybody's just staying silent. Everybody's not saying a single word. Yeah, Shagley probably shouldn't have smirked, but everybody's just not saying anything, no comment. That's the message. You would have thought from the top down, but no, at the very top it's what's happening here? Oh, that's yesterday's news. I'm going in here now.
It's actually funny I can say. I'm going in here now.
Well, of course you are. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
I think I wrote this. Yeah, I did. I sent a tweet about that. It did actually remind me of like being on a stag do, and then somebody like brings up your behaviour from the night before. It's like, that's yesterday. Dude. I'm going in here now.
I'm absolutely fine.
I'm going in here now to drink more pints.
I'll be even poorer behaved this evening.
Wait till you see today's news.
And Rob was saying that, Rob told us as well that Sky Sports were then hanging around for ages afterwards. And he's like, why are you still here? He's like, oh, I want to see Andrew McKinley coming in. He's like, you came in, you missed him.
Fucking hell, that's what I'm saying. Like, slow news day, boring as fuck. Standing about waiting for Andrew McKinley.
Waiting for one more person to come in and say nothing.
Yeah, what? Bye. What do they do? Phone Jim White? We never got any comments. Like, we're never going to come back.
My Sky subscription well spent.
Yeah.
Peterhead trolled Dick Campbell after winning the League 2 title against East Fife.
I'll be honest, I didn't know what this referred to when they initially tweeted about it, but then they did a follow-up tweet where they...
Splendor joke.
But they clipped the interview. I think it was with Open Goal. And it was Dick Campbell essentially talking about the fact that you've got younger managers in the game. And the quote was, some of the appointments to young people from a dressing room to a management role, it's impossible for them to succeed. And the fact that he was obviously trumped by two players that done just that. It was quite funny once they explained it.
So is this like the lower league equivalent of Alan Hansen saying you can't win things with kids?
Was that
League 2 version?
Yeah, the League 2 version of that.
You can't win things with kid managers.
Yeah. You can't win things with fully grown men who are slightly younger than other men.
Peterhead though, keeping receipts again, fair play to them.
Aye, they're good at that. I'm rubbish keeping receipts.
No, I move on.
Like I never,
that's personally what I do.
I never keep stuff like that on my phone. Gary's a good one for it. He's always bringing out like.
But I mean, when you've got nothing going on, when you're a Dundee fan, I mean, all there is all Gary can build up to his moments. So it has to be just that. I mean, it was on the receipts about a player leaving Dundee to sign for Celtic over me rather than my own team.
I was going to say Gary's good at keeping them, but he very rarely gets a chance to use them.
And when he does, it's like he's nearly going to explode.
Wow, we finished 9th.
But that's what you need. You need to keep he needs to keep his mental health up as well. So fair enough.
Rangers fans believe a teasing tweet from the San Francisco 49ers with the words, "You ready?"
Why would they do it like that?
It was about the takeover. Instead, it was for tight ends, Kerry Kittle signing a new contract.
Why would San Francisco 49ers tweet about the Rangers?
Yeah, just because the same people, the businesses own the same thing. Why would the actual club?
No, but they did when the takeover was completed. San Francisco 49ers did actually tweet something.
Well, now we look silly. Well.
Keep the receipts on that
one. I never said anything.
Gary, fucking hell.
Talk amongst yourselves and see if I can find it.
I'm gonna get slammed by. Talk about the Rangers 49ers thing, but I wouldn't have thought that. I thought it would just be kept quite separately. I didn't realise it because they own Leeds and stuff. So I didn't realise that they done it like in such a sporty fashion, that they're all together.
I'd be astonished if Rangers tweet about the San Francisco 49ers and if they do that, Rangers fans will like it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that happening?
Bobby Nwanze tweeting about the Super Bowl.
To be fair, all that they actually did tweet at the end was the three colours, the red. In fact,
blue?
I'd actually say they got them the wrong way around.
Red, blue and white.
Aye, red, blue and white, but surely it'd be blue first for Rangers. Yeah, so they even got it wrong. So they did eventually tweet when it was eventually announced. But but even then, so they've done something, but they wouldn't tease it. It wouldn't be like that to their own fans. Like, we're about to buy a Scottish football club. Aren't you buzzing? To be fair, Americans love him in fucking Scottish.
I suppose
they would be buzzing.
That's a fair point, actually.
I'm just thinking, like what would be like the Scottish? I'd imagine, I don't know. Like I can't imagine like Wraith Rovers tweeting that they signed a rugby team. I'd be furious.
Because it's like, I don't know, did Bournemouth do anything when Hibs took bit for the Black Knights?
I don't know.
Can't imagine.
Can't remember anything from Brighton when Tony Bloom's investment went
him and give a fuck. Who we stealing from them, basically, in 5 years? Which young player am I taking off them for thruppence? That's really all belonging. In terms of an English football fan, that's all they're thinking of.
What's more likely to happen? Who will be loaning to them?
Yeah.
Who's still not going to get a game for us if he's any good?
What absolute guff are we going to send them?
It will then sell for about 300 grand.
Yeah.
Best case scenario. Right, we are going to, as usual in the show, finish this up on our Patreon. Apologies, it's a little bit shorter, not too much, but a little bit shorter than I usually aim for with these episodes, but it's the end of the season and we only have so many things to talk about. So if you want to hear the rest of it, you will have to go to the Patreon to listen to it. It is only on the £2 per month tier, so that is some good news in that you are getting this for basically the price.
At the very last £2, if you've not done it all season, but finally, I'll give them.
Well, you never know when somebody stumbles across this for the first time.
Fair play.
So if you want to hear the rest, and you can also see the rest as well, because we'll be putting a video version of it on the Patreon as well. So you can, if you're somebody that likes the video instead of the audio, you can also check that out. But we will do one more before we finish, and that Patreon is patreon.com/Terrace Podcast. But we will go out with one extra, and that is Greenock Morton release a calendar which has the wrong number of days in April, a fact which is highlighted on the same day it's revealed they've been given a transfer ban by FIFA.
But see, when you say it's the same day, what day was it? Because it couldn't have been the 31st of April. So was it the 30th of April or the 1st of May? I couldn't quite figure that out.
It was the 1st of May.
Was it the 1st of May?
31st of April doesn't exist. No, I know.
Was it the 30th of April or the 1st of May? It was the 1st of May. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. In fairness, so I can only ever remember how many days are in each month by doing that poem.
I don't even know the poem off by heart, but I just...
So who are we slagging?
I just know.
30 days, half September, April, June and November. All the rest of 31, except February, which is 28 days clear, 29 each leap year. That's the only way I can remember each.
£2 a month. That's all it takes.
And you get these poems and ways to remember how many days are in each month.
There you go. Do you know why we have a leap year?
Because each year doesn't last 365 days a year, it lasts a wee bit longer.
Correct. It lasts 365 days and
0.25.
6 hours. Aye. And then that adds up to then the day that we add on to the leap year.
What's your star sign?
Glad we've done this extra one.
What's my star sign? Leo. I'm on the cusp though. Leo and Virgo.
Aries.
Great.
You can say something about Morton if you want.
Well, I suppose at first when I first thought this, I thought it was that Morton were tweeting, telling people to buy their calendar like in April. A bit late. it's like with these calendars as well. Like it's when I was a kid and everyone used to get them, it was always so annoying because by the time the third month it came in, half the players had fucking left by that, or had already left even before the calendar was released. But no, it was actually just a guy just pointing it out, and then by coincidence, then I take it, the FIFA ban came out at the same time.
Yes, because the ban was already in place, and this actually... So this
it doesn't rain, but it pours.
this started over a month of solid bickering amongst Morton fans because Tony, Shaughan, you would have heard this presumably, but Tony, you probably haven't, and there'll be a lot of people listening to this who maybe haven't as well if you don't really follow the lower leagues. But so the board, the club board, so Morton are fan owned, and it's kind of similar how other
I know that
fan owned teams work. And there's a fan owned entity like Foundation Hearts. Theirs is, what is it again? It's Morton. It's Morton Club Together.
MCT.
Yeah, Morton Club Together. And then there's a club board. The club board has 2 representatives from MCT on it. They didn't tell MCT, basically the club owners, about the transfer ban which was in place for a month.
I do remember.
There was a suggestion Doug Emery didn't know about either.
Yes, I was told. I may as well share this. I was told that Doug Emery only found out when he went to buy a goalkeeper.
He was allowed
because they didn't have anybody left for the last day of the season, and he wasn't allowed because they had the transfer ban. And I think that's how the story came out.
I mean,
so then
that's quitting material, I think. If I'm a manager,
so then the board and MCT were at each other's throats for like what was happening. They were asking the board, the representatives to resign. They refused to resign. Then members of MCT resigned because they were like, well, our position's untenable if the guys actually on the club board are not doing what they're supposed to. And then it came out like, and then the sponsor got involved. It was like, right, okay, we've got to up our sponsorship, but we want to take control of the governance of this club because it's clearly not working.
So it was either going to be that they kept all their ownership, but they had not a pot to piss in.
Kept all ownership, not a pot to piss in, or that the sponsors would put 2 of their own representatives on the board, including one of the guys who the fans wanted off the board. And there was a lot of kind of worry about that. I think, I've not seen the final vote, but I think in the end a lot of the Morton fans were placated because the actual man who owned the company, the sponsor, who's the reason why he puts money in them in the first place, because he was born in Greenock. He came on and was basically like, right, the communication's been shite up to this point. Here's why I'm doing it. Here's what you needed to know for a month. There's not going to be any share issues ordered, so we can't lose control of the club.
They were 90% in favour.
Aye, so like, until he came out though, it looked like it was going to be voted no.
Yeah. Yep.
And I wrote an article saying you should vote no, because until he came out and spoke to the fans, it stunk, basically. The whole thing looked dodgy as fuck.
Fowler writing vote no articles, are you? Jesus.
The
Herald, no less.
Go back to my Scotsman days.
It was just very, very funny how that day in terms of the calendar kind of panned out, because it was one of those ones where it was like, because the calendar thing started to gain a bit of traction and it became a wee bit viral, and it was like, for like about 2 hours, Morton fans were like, ho, 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 what are we like? And then suddenly, by the way, you've got a FIFA transfer ban. I beg your fucking pardon.
I always love for these FIFA transfer bans as well. It's like, how the fuck do they even realise? Someone has the grass on you, because there's no way Infantano or any of his cronies are shuffling through looking to find out who fucking Morton fucked up signing a goalie or whatever.
No, but this is the paperwork that has to go through. You have to send. It was to do with somebody that they signed from Liverpool, and Liverpool waived the compensation. But they had to send through the proper paperwork to FIFA, and FIFA emailed them asking where it was, and it went to
an old email address.
An old email address that was run by a former director that wasn't at the club anymore. Tony's just disappointed.
Well, just come on now.
Scottish football do this all the time.
I know, but I mean, it's like attaching emails. It's attachments. I mean, it doesn't get simpler. I do think, I really do regret thinking, like, it looks like you could get really good jobs in football just by being around and just applying for them. Because some of these people who get them, they surely can't be qualified.
Well, look at Partick Thistle right now. Nobody knows what they do.
Yeah, so sure, you can maybe skate yourself into a pretty cushy job.
Aye, there's
I don't think it'd be quite easy to get. Because they're pretty high responsible jobs, and they absolutely fuck it up all the time. Hence why we do this all the time. We do 6 episodes of it. It's absolutely fucking mental. It's just constant. And it's always like just administration stuff and that. Just people forgetting to do like the most basic shit.
I'd forget to do stuff though. Like, see, if I was, I'd forget to do stuff.
Just try hanging around with the players and get selfies.
I mean, there was like something in the bloody net. There's Rovers and there was like an AGM or something. It was like, so what do you do essentially? He goes, I just hang around the players and then play darts.
Surely not.
You're in quite an important position. That's what you do at Academy.
Well, there you go. You just explained why this happens, because that's what that cunt thinks his job actually is.
Just plays darts.
Oh, surely there's other things you have to do.
Just playing darts with Aidan Connolly. That's my job.
Caps the money now, please.
My wages were late this month.
Yeah, triple 20. Yeah.
Nobody wants to play us for months. I know, but I'm really good at darts.
Oh shit, he was mate playing the League Cup. That's what's up.
Right, to the Tony say we do 6 of these, and that was episode 5. So as I said, if you want to listen to episode 6, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Terrace Podcast to listen to the rest. Tony, say goodbye.
Bye.
Shaughan, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm Craig Fowler, and until next time, see you later.